Okay guys, I'm back. So truth be told, regular cooking is not my strong point. I can bake, I can I can make desserts. So I'm gonna show you those kinds of things on the channel more this year. I'm gonna show you recipes that I use, but you should always do your own research and find recipes that you trust. I know there's a big fear of botulism. It's actually pretty rare in home canned goods, but you should always research before you start canning. That way you're not scared to use the foods that you make, because I know a lot of people are scared of it. My neighbor loved her to death. She pickled some okra and she ended up throwing it away because she was scared she did it wrong. And there's a 99.9% chance she did it perfectly correct, which is what I told her. It's in vinegar, so it was safe. I gave her some of our pickled okra for Christmas, and I hope she ate it. I know she usually eats what we give her, so. Today I'm doing a jalapeno pepper jelly that I talked about earlier. This one was real popular for Christmas. We served it on charcuterie boards. I'm not going to tell you how I jokingly pronounce that, but it's not the correct way. Anyway, I'm going to show you that. I have all the ingredients and everything here. You can see all the eggs sitting on the kitchen table waiting to go into the incubator tonight. And Lane's in the background doing stuff, so hopefully he doesn't get too wild. But this is the recipe I'm going to use here. I'm going to type it all up in the description, that way you have it, because this is kind of translated for me and it's not completely clear, I guess. I don't know. It's clear to me, but it's probably not going to be clear to you if you try to look at it here. So I'll type it up for you. Alright guys. Okay, so I have my handy dandy well-up cutting board right here. This recipe calls for 3 cups of chopped bell peppers. These are a little bit wilted, but it's okay. They're still good. I'm going to use them. You just want to take out all your seeds. Make sure you rinse all this before you start cooking with it. We had to clean up the garden before the cold weather came in. We still had a lot of peppers growing because it was actually the perfect temps. So I'm just going to rough cut all of this and measure right around 3 cups, because what I'm going to do after all my peppers are cut is I'm going to put them through the blender to give them more of a fine You can use red, green, and yellow in this recipe. I'm no sous chef by any means. Alright, so it's right about 1 cup. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to empty it into my bowl and do 2 more. So now we are going to move on to jalapenos. The gloves are not a big deal when you are chopping bell peppers, but if you are chopping jalapenos, please wear gloves. or you will have big regrets later on. I'm gonna go ahead and these are kind of small. Like I said, we had to clean up the garden and we pulled as many peppers as we could before the cold came through. But on a larger one, I'll go ahead and use an apple core to go ahead and take out the stems and, not the stems, the seeds, guys, the seeds. That way we carry in a little bit less heat. I don't like spicy stuff. Aaron likes spicy stuff. But everybody thought that the last one I made had the perfect amount of jalapeno without the heat. So that's what I'm going for again. And we are going to do a whole cup of jalapenos. And again, I'm just going to rough chop because I just want to have a good idea of how much I have in here. Alright, so I have everything chopped. I said blender earlier, but food processor. I'm going to pass it through there and then I'll come back and we'll start cooking it. And I feel like I should include as a side note, if you came for an aesthetically pleasing cooking video, you're not going to find that here. That's mostly just going to be me fumbling around in the kitchen because hot mess express all day long, anytime I can. I'm going to go grab my canner and start heating that up. I have a Presto Precise. I do have a stovetop water bath canner and pressure canner. But I really like my digital canner. It works really well. I'm only 6 feet above sea level, so we don't have to worry about altitude or any of those issues you might run into with other electric pressure canners and water bath canners. So no judgments, don't need any comments on that. I've done my research. You should do yours. Yeah, let me go grab it. Okay, so I put it through the food processor and it's about the correct sizes we need now. There's bigger and smaller pieces. It's going to be pretty in your jelly when you're all done. So the first thing we have to do, I'm going to read it because I don't memorize these. Alright, so we're going to add all our peppers to the pot, and then we're going to add in our apple cider vinegar and our pectin. And I wanted to note for pectin, I do not buy the small boxes at the store. I do get pectin in bulk off of Amazon from, I'm sorry, I did not. Hoosier Hill Farm. It runs about $20 for this bag, and this is all I use now because it's much cheaper for me. That cans a lot of jellies and jams and marmalades and all that good stuff, so it might be something for you to check out. Alright, so I have this heating up and coming to a rolling boil, and I have the jars warming up right now. I had to stop real quick because I did absolutely forget to do that. So after we have this at a rolling boil, we are going to go ahead and we're going to add 5 cups of sugar. Now we add the 5 cups of sugar. We're going to bring it back to a rolling boil for 1.5 minutes. And remember, you want to stir constantly. I don't always stand here and stir constantly, but make sure you're definitely stirring often and keeping an eye on it. I have my sugar all ready to go. The It makes it easier if you measure out your ingredients first. Okay, we're at a rolling boil, so I'm going to go ahead and add the sugar. And make sure you stir your sugar in well. I realize that it looks grainy right now, but as it cooks and the sugar continues to dissolve, it'll turn more of a clear consistency. So we are going to let that come to a boil, and then once it's at a rolling boil, we will time it for 1.5 minutes. Yes, I got myself with the mandolin earlier. It was not fun. Alright, we are at a full rolling boil, so I'm going to go ahead and time that for 1.5 minutes. And then we're going to remove it from the heat, and we will skim any foam off the top, and then it will be time to put it into jars. Okay, so our 1.5 minutes at a full rolling boil is complete, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat. But what you can see is as it's boiled, it has lost that grainy texture, and it is a jelly consistency now. So we're just going to let this sit for a second and let any foam come to the top, and then we will go ahead and remove that before putting into our canning jars. Now that's done, our jars are preheated and sanitized from the canner. You just want to go ahead, add your pepper jelly to your jars, and leave a 1/2 inch headspace. Yes, it's very cold outside. I'm making pepper jelly.
Why do you have your phone like that?
Because I'm videoing it.
Oh.
Alright, so we have everything jarred up, and I just need to go ahead. You're going to need a wet paper towel, and you're going to want to clean your rims off to make sure you don't have anything that is blocking the way of a good seal on your canning lid. Some people use vinegar. I do not use vinegar. I just use plain water. And there are a lot of different thoughts on using vinegar or water. Water is works best for us. I'm sure if you've been canning for a little bit, you have seen the great debate. This one ended up having a little bit less, so this is going to be Aaron's tester jar. And you want to put your lids on finger tight. If you have an electric pressure canner, water bath canner, especially a Presto Precise, it helps to put it a bit tighter than finger tight. don't know why, but that's the way it works best. And whatever you do, please don't flip your jelly jars upside down. That's very unsafe. You want to go ahead and water bath them. Alright, so I'm going to pop these into the canner and let them go for the 10 minutes that they need, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Alright, so I just pulled them out of the canner. I had them in the water bath canner for 10 minutes. And they are going to sit on the counter for 24 hours. And then you can check seals, wash them, and pick them up wherever you keep your canning. They're currently starting to ding, but there you go. So yeah, it came out excellent. When Aaron gets home, he can try his jar that wasn't quite full. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll try to do more. I'll try to be a little more organized. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. And we'll see you later. Alright guys, bye.